Breaking news, there have been reports of UFO sightings, drones flying over New Jersey. Trump said down. He is not playing no games. I want to get into the reactions today because there's some people out here that actually have recordings, like crystal clear recordings. There was one guy who had a recording. It looks like a light, but you can see through it. It was very translucent. So, welcome back to Keisha Reacts. Let's get into it, y'all.
Them drones that y'all seeing in Miami and Brooklyn and New Jersey or whatever else, those are government drones, and they are here because extraterrestrials are starting to make more of an appearance. Just know though, extraterrestrials have always been here since the Nephilim and since the Watchers. This shit has always been weird and spiritual before physical. But now in this frequency that we in, extraterrestrials are starting to make more of an appearance. I've been seeing them for the past 2 months, 3 months, and they just now putting these drones out. They're putting these drones out to gauge what the fuck is going on in the ethers, what the fuck is actually going on, because it's some real shit going on, y'all, and I've been seeing it. I've been made a video way before the drones even came out. So I'm just here to let y'all know, some of them videos is fucking fake. The ones that's coming from the ocean, coming out of the ocean, that's an actual drone show. The other ones where you can see clear footage is actual government drones that the government have in order to look at these UFOs or these extraterrestrial objects. So with that being said, just be careful of what y'all paying attention to. Be careful of what y'all watching, because it is a lot of like just anticipation with UFOs or extraterrestrials, and that could lead to weaponizing this type of information and using it against the people. So just be aware, y'all. ETs have always been here, but just know that they are starting to make more of an appearance, more than they have been before, and it's going to come with the government doing some strange shit. One love.
Drones that has infiltrated the U.S. airspace just crashed in Hillsborough, New Jersey. What we know is immediately after that crash took place, within minutes, there were hundreds of federal and state authorities on site in the wooded area where this crash took place, which, if you know anything about Hillsborough, New Jersey, it is directly across from the Lowe's in Hillsborough. We could also talk about Nancy Pelosi just being hospitalized due to unknown extensive injuries, but let's talk about more important things. So what I find most interesting is that as soon as this crash took place, they put out a bulletin telling everyone to avoid the area, including local emergency personnel, to allow the federal authorities to engage and find out what is going on with this drone. Circumstances surrounding the crash really is unknown, so we don't know if this was a crash due to a malfunction or if someone actually took this drone down. But that's really irrelevant at this point. What the American people need to look for is, over the next 12 to 24 hours, every single American member of Congress, as well as Joe Biden and President Trump, should be 100% aware of where these drones came from, what they are doing here, what they are capable of, and more importantly, what technology is involved with these mysterious drones that have infiltrated the United States airspace. And if we do not get this information from the federal government, given that there are literally hundreds of them right now on the ground in Hillsborough, New Jersey, we know they're hiding something from us. So today is the day, Friday the 13th, that the federal government has the chance to reestablish trust with the American people and be transparent on exactly what are these drones doing that is literally uprooting lives and potentially placing millions of American lives at risk all across this country. Needless to say, I was super excited to hear about the drone crashing, because that's going to allow us to investigate and provide us with the insight that the American people have been begging for, as well as members of Congress over the last week. So let's focus on the news and watch precisely what comes out over the next couple of hours as they begin to investigate this drone that is now on the ground and federal authorities have absolute complete access to it. And good riddance to Nancy Pelosi. Much love. God bless. I love you all. Let's see what comes of all of this. And hopefully we can actually address the real issue of these drones, who are not apparently from a foreign adversary and who are not a part of the U.S. military, that have been infiltrating the skies for the last several weeks. Hopefully we get answers.
That's kind of odd. This shit. It was like they turned on some type of... The fuck is going on? And they're just flying like that together.
Video yesterday talking about how there's drones in Lakeland, Florida, and how I see them all the time, and so many of you guys said that you see them too, but I'm looking at one right now, so I thought I would show you guys a video. I'm currently in Auburndale, Florida. That's like in between Lakeland and Orlando, but I see the most drones when I was on I-4 near Kathleen Boulevard in Lakeland. There was like 20 out, and they're not stars. It's not Starlink, it's not a long rocket launch, it's not Jupiter, it's not any planet. It is literally a drone or some kind of UFO. But anyway, I'm looking at one right now, so I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm in Auburndale, Florida, in a Walmart parking lot, so let's look. Again, this is going to be very low quality because I'm just on my phone, but I'm going to do my very best, guys. Okay, see how there's street light? Street light. You see how bright they are? Like, you know how bright a street light is. Look right in the middle. Do you see that? That is a drone. They just sit there. I'm trying to get a good video for you guys. They just sit there and they don't move. And obviously on my camera, it looks really small, but in person, it's extremely bright. It doesn't look like a star. It looks like a giant spotlight in the sky, and they just hover. This is the same one that was there yesterday. It literally just hovers in the sky and they don't move. Just to show you, I see some planes in the air right now. Like, that's a plane, clearly. It has flashing lights. You know, that's obviously a plane right there. Do you see that plane? That's definitely not, you know, a drone. That's just a plane flying in because we're very close to Lakeland International Airport. That is not an airplane. There's no flashing lights. It just hovers in the sky, and it literally doesn't move. It just sits there. This is the second day in a row I've seen them. They just don't move, and it's so freaky.
The current UFO drone situation is starting to get out of hand as we are watching a total and complete breakdown of the illusion of control over U.S. airspace. We have now, over the course of the week, seen local law enforcement, members of Congress, and now finally the Pentagon make public statements about what they know. Here's the current state of play, and it doesn't obviously make any sense. So the Pentagon briefing just finished. Here's what the Pentagon had to say. The Pentagon is aware of the drone situation. There's no evidence that it's coming from a foreign entity or adversary. They are not U.S. military drones. It's not an Iranian mothership, which was something that a member of Congress said earlier this morning, that from his sources, that they believe it to be an Iranian mothership that was sent over the Atlantic a month ago, that these smaller, between bike to SUV sized drones are currently flying out of. The Pentagon said there's no evidence of that. The FBI knows nothing. Local law enforcement knows nothing. None of them have been shot down. Yesterday, the White House had a press briefing where Kareem Jean-Pierre said Biden is aware of and monitoring the situation, whatever that means. U.S. Northern Command earlier today put out a statement where stating they conducted deliberate analysis. Again, I don't know what that means, but was, quote, not requested to assist with these events at this time, end quote. These aerial vehicles have been allegedly seen coming in off the ocean. I think there's been a lot of misquoting of things. I think people have been explicitly stating that they're coming in from the ocean as opposed to in out of the ocean, although that could use some clarifying questions. The behavior is clearly intelligently controlled. It looks to be some kind of ISR, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance functionality, because we've seen tracks of these kind of doing this mapping type of movement. We saw similar sightings in 2019 in Colorado with this same kind of low-flying, slow lumbering, mapping or scanning type of behavior. So that is, at least for some of these sightings, what we seem to be seeing. And again, given that no one has an answer, the Air Force is completely silent. Who knows where they are? Space Force hasn't said anything. It's not necessarily in space, so they don't have to say anything. Navy hasn't said anything. So it's, right now it's either a non-state, a non-nation state hostile intelligence service or non-human intelligence until otherwise stated, because it's apparently nothing else.
The Pentagon finally released
objects in the sky.
My newest on the...
Hey friends, it's Friday the 13th, so let's do a UFO drone update. I wish this one was a happier one, but unfortunately it's not. And I hate to even do this, but there's a lot of things that have come out today that all point to the same thing. And I think it's worth mentioning. And at the end, I'll leave you with a positive note. So, what is happening? Okay, we have these drones, they're increasing. The government is coming out saying there's nothing to see here, but just today, the governor of Maryland came out and said, hey, all night last night I sat out in my backyard and I saw drone after drone, car size, van size of these drones circling. What are they doing? So the local sheriffs, the state, all sorts of people are getting angry and saying, hey, y'all know something, why aren't you telling us? Well, here is why possibly these are ours and they're not saying anything. Now, there are agencies within our government, parts of our government that other parts don't know about. There's very secret agencies that have access to technologies that other people don't, possibly from exotic reverse engineered craft, okay? So they could have things at their disposal that wouldn't make sense to us, that we would see as alien or UFOs. Now, if they were to deploy these out into the public, it has to be for a very dire reason. They wouldn't just do this. They would do it at night so people couldn't get a good look at them. They would do it in a way to where they could maintain anonymity, right? Giving them FAA approved lights and that kind of stuff. And then they would come out and they would say, nothing to see here, but you're not in any danger. Well, how can they tell us that these things don't pose a risk to us or a danger if they also are telling us they don't know what they are? Well, these agencies that outrank everybody would just simply say, hey, these are ours. We're looking for something. Don't shoot us. Don't do anything. And you can't say anything. Just play dumb. And that's what our politicians have to do. They have to play dumb. So what could it be? Well, new information is coming out that is suggesting, this is all hypothetical, but that there was some sort of a weapon, a big one, that was smuggled into our country somehow through a port or maybe a submarine or something like that, and that these are looking for it. They have like nuclear sniffing technology and they can search out things, and that's why they're low and slow. That's why you're seeing them right over rooftops and tree lines. They're searching. They're using their equipment. They're probably AI-based, AI-powered, and these things are systematically looking for something. And that's why they don't want to tell anyone what they are, because then it outs this technology, because people don't know, like everyone's looking at it saying, we don't know what this technology is. That's why they're thinking it must be some adversary. So like, we don't have this technology. Well, I think we do. I think that's why these are all in America and UK, our ally, and why they are looking in specific areas systematically. They're looking for something. So the reports are, these are all reports, all hypotheticals, okay? The reports are that they are looking for a container of some sort or something like that that might have a weapon in it before the bad guys do something bad with the weapon, okay? That's what they're looking for. That's the report. There's other reports. There's all sorts of stuff saying there's two different factions in the government. One wants to do it, one doesn't, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. So many rumors. I'm not going to get into all that. But the reason I felt it, appropriate to even say this much is because there's a few other things that correlate this. Like, there's a group called the Farsight Group. I'm not the biggest fan of them, but they do pretty good remote viewing work, and they remote viewed December, and they were trying to see specifically if there's any sort of event that happens in December and January domestically. And almost everyone in the group saw a prominent explosion of some sort, okay? So that's significant because it was multiple people that saw similar things. And then you had Chris Bledsoe, who had a prophetic vision from the lady years ago, and he talked about it, that there was some sort of a device that was delivered via submarine on the East Coast. So that was something that he said, which, at the time, people were like, probably not. That doesn't seem reasonable. But now look at what's going on, okay? And then you have like the whole, Cliff High 39 days to melee thing, which basically don't worry about the 39 days specifically, but put in the month of December some sort of an aerial skirmish, some sort of a thing between our, jets and helicopters and stuff and something else, some other craft. Well, what are we seeing? We're seeing these craft that we can't explain, an unidentified flying object, okay? He nailed it with this. It's crazy. We're watching it happen, okay? So are these UFOs? Well, they could be our stuff that is reverse engineered from UFOs. I mean, we know that these programs exist, so we always wondered, what are they doing with these programs? They've had 70 years to reverse engineer this stuff. What have they done? I think we're seeing it. They're only rolling it out because they have to. Unfortunately, that's the bad news. So where does the good news come in? I hate doing videos like this. Well, there's a lot of reports that in addition to this, there's other things in the sky, orbs. Okay, anytime I see the orbs are good. Okay, I've had experiences with these guys. They're cherub angel spirits. They are here to oversee. Okay, I don't know how much ability they have to prevent us from being idiots and doing stupid things, but I think that they do, because they show up at a lot of disaster sites and catastrophes and cataclysms, and they're always around war zones and that kind of stuff, and it makes you think they're probably doing something. They're working. They might not be able to prevent everything, but I think they're preventing some of it. And then there's the Galactic Federation. Whether you believe in that or not, more and more information is coming out that there is a group of ET type beings that we might be trying to level up our consciousness to get to the point where we can join, that serve as sort of a governing council of space, and that they can intervene, but only if they're invited in, because they cannot impede on our free will. So the good news I'll leave you with is possibly, I know people pray, and I'm not saying not to pray, but you might even consciously reach out and say, we're asking for assistance. We're needing help here. This is a situation, we could use your help, and we would allow your help, and we would invite your help. So that's something I'm going to do, and I would recommend.
Tasked with keeping all of them people safe. If anyone were going to be given a statement or told what to say, it would be him. I'm not talking about them telling him what the tech is. I'm saying he would have at least been given something to say. This belongs to the U.S. military. The military is doing some kind of exercise, or this is what it is. You don't have to worry. Something like this. What he wouldn't have been told is to go on TV and tell everyone, we don't know what's going on. That would not be what he was told to say. I also, in my area, have officials on TV every day now saying we don't know what they are. Nobody knows what they are. That tells us it is not U.S. tech. That leaves one of two things. It is either tech from another country or the other thing. Now, why wouldn't it be from another country? Well, that's easy. If another country sent their tech, their drones here onto our land, surveying our most valuable assets, our reservoirs, our bridges, our electrical substations, our airports, our military bases, that would be an instant declaration of war, would it not? What country would be stupid enough, even if they had the tech, what country would be stupid enough to use that tech so blatantly, so overtly, as to give all of those secrets away? And for what? For what? What is the end result here? What are they trying to do? There are other ways of gathering information than giving your finest tech secrets away. It is not, repeat, it is not tech from another country. It would be one of the dumbest strategic moves that a country in possession of this tech could make. That's the kind of tech that you bring out on the battlefield. Your opponent doesn't even know you have it. That would be a tactical advantage beyond any that we know of. And we are supposed to believe that all of a sudden they're deploying it in New Jersey. I mean, if you're a general and this is your plan, so what does that leave? Let's think about this. If you were an alien race and you wanted to survey the assets of a country, in this particular instance, how would you do it? I would design aircraft that looked quite similar to what they have. In this way, since you have to be visible, at least you keep people guessing. You're not going to expect most of the population is going to believe it's ET. They're going to think that's a conspiracy theory. Oh, it's the military. That's what you want. That's what I would want. Here is the most sobering part. What would be the reason why they are inventorying or surveying our assets? There's three. Number one, they want to know what we have, what our most vulnerable points are, so they can disable us in the most efficient way. Number two, they're inventorying our assets because they just want them. Or number three, they are inventorying our assets to see if they are worth saving. With war so imminent, we all know a third world war would involve thermonuclear weapons. And this area, New Jersey, New York, it would be ground zero. There are more missiles pointed at this area than probably anywhere else in the world. Whatever it is, it's serious. They are taking the risk of exposing themselves, and I'm sure that wasn't their first option. I hope I'm wrong.
So what do you guys think? Did you see the recording that the one guy had? I know it wasn't crystal clear, but all across America, recordings are popping up everywhere. So I am going to stay updated on this. Later on, I'm going to go live, and I would love for you guys to join me on the live. This is going to be a part one of my lineups. I'm Keisha Reacts. Please get in the comments. Tell me what you think. What do you think that was that you seen on the video? What are your thoughts and opinions? Some people are saying it's drones. Some people are saying, no, it's UFO sighting. Some people are saying it's the government playing with us. All right, I'll see y'all the next time.